Hello, my name is Victoria, and today we are going to learn how to make a shop dustpan out of sheet metal. In your kit, you should receive a sheet of metal, a riveting tool, a package of rivets, some tin snips, a hand seamer, a ruler, and a sheet metal folding tool, a screwdriver, your wooden handle, and a Sharpie. The first thing you're going to do is make sure you have your personal protective equipment on, which is your gloves and your safety glasses. Step 1 is to use a felt pen and a ruler to mark your piece of sheet metal using the diagram that is provided in your instruction booklet. Step 2 is drilling and cutting your piece of sheet metal. You should receive a piece of sheet metal that already has your holes pre-drilled out for you. But if you do not, please reference our drill video on our YouTube channel to learn how to properly use the drill. Using your tin snips, you're going to cut along the angled line at the bottom corner of your piece of sheet metal. Step 3 is that we are going to use your folding tool to make 2 folds. Please note that your folding tool has 2 sides, a shallow side and a deep side. For your first fold, you are going to flip your piece of sheet metal so that the markings are facing the table and that the angled edges are closest to you. Next, you're going to slide the side of sheet metal that is closest to you through the shallow side of the folding tool until the entire piece of sheet metal is enclosed in that folding tool. Then you will place the entire piece of metal and the folding tool flat onto the table, making sure that it is pushed towards the very back of that shallow side. You're now going to take your folding tool and fold it away from you all the way flat to the table. And when you remove your folding tool, you should have a nice fold. Now, for your second fold, you're going to flip your piece of sheet metal back over so that the markings are now facing up and the holes are on the side furthest away from you. Using the same shallow side of your folding tool, you will perform the same type of fold, but this time folding towards yourself. Once both sides are folded, it should kind of look like an S. We are now going to use our hand seamers to flatten the folds that we just made. So, put your flattened edge all the way to the back of your hand seamer and using force, push it down as hard as possible to get that edge nice and flat. Continue to press all of your folded edges so they are all flat. For your next fold, you are going to make sure that the piece of sheet metal is once again with the markings facing up and the holes furthest away from you. Now you will insert the edge that has the holes into the deep side of the folding tool. If you find that you're having trouble and it's getting stuck, use your hand seamer to flatten that fold a little bit more. Make sure your piece of sheet metal is inserted all the way to the back and then use your folding tool and fold towards yourself at a 90-degree angle. Now, using your tin snips, you are going to cut across the dotted lines that you marked in your first step. Now you're going to take the 2 small edges that you just cut free and bend them slightly towards the top face. Using the deep side of the folding tool, we are now going to fold along the diagonal lines on each side, folding inwards. You want to fold at a 90-degree angle and so that ultimately your outer hole and your inner hole are lining up. If you find that your holes are not lining up, use your hand seamers to make any additional bends to make sure that those line up as closely as possible. Now we are going to move on to riveting. Make sure that your shank or your short side goes through both holes and both pieces of metal with the washer on the inside. Now this part might be tricky, so you may need a friend's help to hold all of the pieces in place while you insert the long side of the rivet or the mandrel into the riveting tool, and then using quite a bit of force, squeeze as many times as is necessary for the rivet to pop into place. After securing the first rivet, you're just going to release the back handle to shake out the piece that has stayed inside. Perform the same riveting technique on the other side, and your finished product should look like this. For our final step, we are going to install the handle. Line up the hole on the bottom of the wooden handle with the hole on the back of the dustpan, Skills Canada Alberta logo facing up. Insert the screw from the inside going through the hole in the dustpan and the hole in the handle, and using your screwdriver, turn right to tighten. Congratulations! You now have your very own shop dustpan that you can use in your woodworking shop, your mechanic shop, your kitchen, wherever you may need. Thank you for joining us for another Try a Trade activity. We hope you enjoyed it. Great work!